I've been thinking about the good times. I've been sleeping through the long nights. I've been shining in the sunlight. I've been thinking how I'm alright. There's a reason for my feelings. There's a reason why I'm healing. Yeah, I feel higher than the ceiling. All because of you.
My name is Andy Hornby, photographer and vlogger. 17 years ago I started teaching myself photography. Today I travel the UK as a professional wedding photographer, landscape photographer and filmmaker. Learn from my experiences, my mistakes and my tips and advice. Sit you down, shall we? Let's put you down here somewhere. Good morning and welcome to another video. Okay, so this morning I've organised a photo walk for some local photographers. I do quite a bit around Portsmouth and Southsea, and I will be doing that further afield soon. I'm looking at getting down to Dorset and maybe even further down the coast to Cornwall. So that'd be really good. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out on my workshop Facebook page, my workshop group, and or my website for anything like that. You might hear my throat's a little bit croaky. It's because I've got a bit of a chest infection. My throat is really hurting today, so I apologise if that comes out in the video. You'll see the sun is on me at the moment. Sunrise was about 15-20 minutes ago, and I've actually got some really nice shots. I've done some long exposure shots, which I'll post over the video now, that I'm actually really happy with. Long exposure is really good first thing in the morning and last thing at night, because it does bring out the colour in the sky quite a bit, if there is any colour in the sky, that is. And we've got some nice colour this morning, a lot of oranges and stuff, and a little bit magenta in the sky this morning, which is really good. And that'll be really prevalent in a long exposure shot, because you take the exposure over a longer period of time, that colour is moving across the sky. Your eyes don't really see it because your eyes adjust for that really cleverly. The camera doesn't, but the camera does pick it up really good. So I've done that this morning. I've taken a few other shots as well, which I'm actually really happy with. This video is kind of about the 4 things that you really need if you're going to do long exposure photography work. It's kind of simple stuff, but a lot of people always ask me, you know, what I need for long exposure stuff, and so we're going to give you the rundown of the four main things you're going to need. That obviously doesn't include the settings. Obviously you need to learn what to do with your camera, but the first thing is your camera. You need a decent enough camera that can have or hold a filter. Now, a lot of bridge cameras still have filter rings on them, so you might be able to buy filters for a bridge camera, but your sort of normal point and shoot stuff won't have that. Unfortunately, you will need a fairly half decent camera. So if you haven't got one already, go down to your local London Camera Exchange or some shop and get a bit of advice on the camera you'll need to allow for filters. So that's your first thing. Your second thing is actually the filters themselves. Now, there are a lot of different types of filters. Don't get mistaken to thinking things like a polarizer filter will do. You buy your cheap filters on Amazon, they're not going to be any good, especially if you're going to do some stuff during the day. You need something like a 10-stop filter to get any decent amount of time out of your camera, because what we're doing is we're faking our camera to thinking it's darker than what it actually is, so we can slow our shutter speed down to compensate. That's all long exposure photography is. That might be anything from a couple of seconds, which you can do in camera, or up to a couple of minutes. If you've seen any of my videos from a couple of years ago, you'll know that just around the corner from where I am on the coast at the moment is South Quay Pier. Now, I've done a 17-minute exposure on South Quay Pier, not for any reason other than I was just wanting to do it. You wouldn't necessarily get any different image from, say, maybe doing a 5-minute exposure. It was just because I was doing a video and I wanted to prove that it can be done. So 17 minutes my camera was taking a picture. That was a morning shoot. I did calculate this morning if I had my 10-stop on, I could have done a 35-minute exposure, funnily enough, when I was up there earlier on. But I haven't got the patience anymore to wait around 35 minutes for an exposure, so that was not going to happen. So you will need some decent filters. Now, my suggestion is to get a decent 10 stop filter if you're going to do long exposures during the day. A 6 stop filter is only going to potentially during the day, if the sun's out, only going to give you another couple of seconds. It isn't going to give you minutes. A 10 stop will potentially give you up to, you know, a minute or so. Funny enough, my 10 stop filter is actually a 13 stop filter. If you've seen a few of my videos before, you'll know that I've done some testing on my 10 stop filter, and it's not 10 stops, it's 13 stops. So that's awesome, because I can get another three stops of light during the day. I can, you know, even in bright sunlight, I can get a good couple of minute exposures, which is quite difficult to do with just a 10 stop. So that's the kind of main things you need. If you're shooting more than 30 seconds, the third thing you're going to need is some kind of shutter release. Now, I don't know if you can see the top of my camera there. I think you can, just there. That plugs into my camera, and I've got a little remote just there. You can get the ones that just go from there with the lead that go in, but this one I can use from you know, a few meters away and not be right next to the camera. I can plonk the camera down and walk off and do some other bits and pieces. So it's quite good. Hit and miss, it is quite cheap. It's about 25 quid I think on Amazon. Not the best you can get. It's made by Pixel. There are a few other makes you can buy which are potentially better. They might be a bit more expensive, but I've not really had any problems. I've had problems with this, funny enough, on the camera that you're viewing me on, which is my A6400. I tried to do some long exposure stuff the other week and it wasn't working for me. I was trying to do the long exposure work and it just wouldn't stop. My camera just wouldn't stop, funny enough. So I need to do some more testing on that, whether it's this or the camera, I don't know. But on my A7 III, works absolutely fine. It's pretty simple. Put this into bulb mode, put your camera into bulb mode, and away you go. Hit your button and then hit the button again to stop it. Just have to time it. There's a timer on there. It's really good. That's all the physical things you need to do in long exposure. But the fourth thing you're going to need is a way of calculating. Now you can do this in your head. It's not massively difficult to do it in your head, but an exposure calculator on your phone is the easiest way. And now if you've seen my video on apps, you'll know that the app I use most is the exposure calculator, and makes it really simple. The top part of your screen is your base exposure, because you'll need to get that first before you calculate what your long exposure is going to be. The bottom part of the app shows you what your output time is going to be for your exposure. Really simple. You put your stuff in at the top, you put your base exposure in at the top and it will tell you what you need to do. Now if you've just got like a 6 stop filter, you're potentially only going to gain a few seconds during the day, but let me give you a bit more advice. If you're going to do some long exposure stuff, do the first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Sunsets with long exposure is brilliant, because like I said, you get all that colour in the sky. If there's a bit of colour there and the colour's moving, your eyes don't really see it, but if you're doing long exposure, your camera will track all that colour through the sky, and you get some really nice sunsets. Really good. So they're the four main things you need to be able to do long exposure work. Obviously you need to understand all your settings and stuff. Have a look back through my videos. I've got a couple of videos on actually how to physically set up and do long exposures, but the question today was, what are the 4 main things you need to be able to get you started? And that's it. So you need a camera that enables you to put a filter on the front of it, whatever kind of filter that might be. It might be one of those ones that slot in or ones that screw on, whichever. My preference is the screw-on ones. They don't move, they don't drop. The second thing is a natural filter itself, so you need to go out and buy a natural filter. The third thing you're going to need is a shutter release. If you're going to go past 30 seconds, there's a good chance your camera won't go past 30 seconds by itself. You need to put it into bulb mode and then use one of these things to set it off. And the fourth thing you're going to need is a way of calculating your exposure, and there are apps out there that do that. Unfortunately, if you're on Apple, the apps are very few and far between. They're not very good, unfortunately, but if you're on Android, find the app called Exposure Calculator. Really simple, takes all the time out of doing long exposures, and it's the best bet, honestly. So that's it really. I'm going to get back to it, get some more pictures, and hopefully I'll see you in another video. If you like this or got anything out of it, please hit a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the notification to get updates every time I upload a video. And if you've got any comments or questions about this, please drop them in the comments down below. Always happy to answer any questions. Take care, see you soon, bye.
Doing now is so sweet, so sweet. Talking till we asleep, asleep. Every night I fall deep, but love, yeah. 'Cause you really get me, make me fall to my knees, my knees. Every night I fall deep, but love.
You're still here, nice. It's good that you're still here because I want to tell you a little something. Those people who are avid followers of me, I want to give a little something back, and to do that it means working alongside you online because a lot of you can't make it to my workshop. So I've just set up a Patreon account. It is patreon.com/Andy Hornby Photos. So Patreon is a platform where we can create stuff together even if you're halfway across the globe, and I can learn and teach alongside you, literally alongside you. There's so many things I can do to help you get your photography just to that next level. It is awesome. If you can make it to one of my workshops, I've got a website. Go to ahphotographyworkshops.uk and have a look, see what I've got going on. But if you can't make it to one of my workshops, Patreon is a really good platform where we can create stuff together and we can take your photography to another level. So if you like what I'm doing and you want me to learn alongside yourself, see you there. Take it easy, have a good day. Bye.